it might be a weird thing to want to apologize for, but I do want to apologize for it in some capacity. Hello, welcome or welcome back to Classics with a Quirk, where I talk about contemporary and luxury designer items and brands with a touch of silliness. This is the kind of content that you find interesting. Please do like this video and subscribe for more of it. Thank you. Okay, so this is a hard video for me to film because of a few reasons. First of all, I am aware that filming this type of video can make me sound like a really big hypocrite. And I don't want that to be the case, even though I can't change whether or not people are going to interpret this as me being a hypocrite. The second reason that this is hard for me to film is because I don't want to be filming it, because I don't want to have had this issue in the first place, which I will obviously explain in a moment. And the third reason this is difficult for me to film is because I don't like it when other people do this. Like, I dislike watching videos like this for a couple of reasons. And again, I'm gonna explain what I'm talking about in a minute, and I guess I'll just do this now. Okay, so I'm gonna just get into it and start talking. This is gonna be a chatty video. I don't even think I'm gonna be able to put timestamps in it because I don't know where I'm gonna be going with the video, but the bottom line is this, which is many of you watched the saga of me purchasing a couple of items from the fashion file. I bought a beautiful metallic reissue in the 227 size, which I loved and still love. Like, I love it a lot. And I also purchased a YSL medium Lulu in the medium Lulu size in gray, which I really liked that bag, and I returned the Lulu because the logo of the YSL logo was actually coming off of the flap. So I showed it a little bit in the video where I made the decision of which one to keep. That's the other thing. I was trying to decide whether or not I would keep one or the other, or if I should keep both. And initially I was going to be keeping both, but then somebody pointed out, the Necessary Carry on Instagram pointed out to me that the YSL logo on the Lulu was kind of, odd place. And looking at it closer, she was right. The logo not only was low down on the flap, which apparently several people pointed out is something that YSL used to do on their older Lulus, which is fine, but the YSL logo, which I didn't show very well in the video, was actually coming off of the bag. Like, it wasn't attached, like it could be pulled off of the flap, and that bothered me enough that I decided to return the YSL Lulu, even though I really liked the bag and I loved the color. And honestly, I plan to purchase a YSL medium Lulu if I can find another color combination that I like, because I liked that bag a lot and I want to own it, and I think would be very useful. So I do plan to purchase it again. I just need to find one in the color and condition I want. I'd be willing to buy it new. I can't, there isn't one right now out that is in like the gray that I like, but I'll see what comes up on the market. But that's kind of like, I made a whole video about it. I'll link it if you're interested. You might not be interested if you've already watched it, I don't know. But the bottom line was I decided to keep the reissue, and this is it. I have it right here. It's this. I still like. Here's the thing, a lot of people don't like the reissue, and that is fair and valid. It is not everybody's cup of tea. It wasn't even mine in the original, when it was first released. I grew to like it. I grew to really like it. I own another one in the small size in black with gold hardware, and I love it. I use it a lot. So I've wanted to add a 227 to my collection for quite some time now, and I have been eyeing this particular one in this gray, metallic gray, for months on Fashion File, and it went on sale and I decided to go for it, and I was very happy. Like, I really like this bag. Like, that's the thing. I like this bag, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite in the fact that I'm gonna be returning it, because so many of you watched the saga of me purchasing and unboxing the bag and saw how excited I was, and then saw me choose it kind of over the YSL, even though I liked the YSL, but saw me choose it in my last video where I talked about both. And so many of you were happy for me and congratulated me, and I was so excited to be able to keep this bag and add it to my collection. I really like it. Like, I genuinely really like it. And the fact that I bought something and gushed over it and now will be returning it makes me feel bad. I don't like that. I don't like making it seem as though I am insincere, because I'm not. I'm not insincere about the fact that I like this bag. I wasn't faking my joy in unboxing it. I'm not making up my excitement over this thing. Like, I genuinely really like this. And that's part of why this video is hard to film, because I don't want to return it. And I don't want everybody else who congratulated me to be like, oh, why are you doing that? You know, it's twofold. It's not wanting to give it back, and it's also feeling like a hypocrite. So I wanted to kind of start out with that, like put my cards on the table in terms of how I feel in making this video, and like my thought process in making it, because I don't also want to be the YouTuber who buys something and excitedly shows it to everybody and then you never see it again because they secretly return it or sell it. I don't particularly care for people who do that. Like, do you or they do them, like, fine, but it's not content that I prefer to consume, because I do think that it does sometimes ring of insincerity. And, you know, tastes can change, obviously, but I don't think tastes necessarily change that fast. I don't know, like, you feel free to disagree with me. I would prefer that you are kind in the comments, but like, I understand that this is something that might upset people because I bought something, I gushed over it, and now it's going back. But here's the thing. Several of you, rightly so, commented on the fact that this bag is metallic. So it is a metallic, it's not just gray, this is a metallic coating. And I did find a piece of wear on the bag already, and that's fine. This is an old bag, and I had been noticing that there were cracks in the metallic. This is an aged calfskin, and it makes sense that if it had a coating on it, like an added coating, like metallic, you'd find those cracks in the leather, in the worn part of the leather, like the aged part of the leather. That makes sense. And whilst the tag is still on, I didn't take it off, and I'm kind of glad I didn't now. And several of you pointed out the fact that metallic bags do not wear well, and the bigger the metallic bag, the worse the wear is, especially on the corners, on the bottom with the flap. And I will say that I had considered that when I purchased the bag. I had considered the wear and tear and the possibility of wear and tear when I bought this, but it wasn't enough for me to not buy it because I liked it that much. But the fact that other people were commenting on the wear and tear didn't put doubts in my mind, because I try not to be influenced by other people's opinions if I know that I have a strong opinion on my own. You know what I mean? Like, I'm open to argument, I'm open to conversation, but if I know that I like something, somebody else saying, oh, that's not so good, doesn't make me not like it. Does that make sense? But it did add to a doubt that I already had in my mind. And so I wanted to do some more research on this bag specifically, this metallic, and I ended up going on eBay, on Vestiaire Collective, on Fashion File, and I found actually several bags. So this is a 15 series. I found several other 15 series gray metallic bags, like this exact bag, basically, obviously not this one, but like this exact style and model and color combination. I found several of them. I found one on Vestiaire Collective, and I found one on eBay, and then I found a 12 series metallic as well on one of those two sites. So I looked at these pictures and I checked the corners, and the wear on the bags was significant, like very significant. I'm going to be putting pictures up here somewhere, but you'll see in the pictures that the corner wear was very, very bad, damaged, obviously damaged, and you can't repair metallics in the same way that you can kind of cover up certain other leather distress. And some of the wear was so stark that it looked like the bag itself was ripping, and the leather was tearing itself, like the leather was sort of dissolving apart, which can happen when it's treated and then it wears away. The treatment wears away. It can take layers of the leather with it, and that weakens the leather and causes added distress, and then the leather itself can deteriorate faster. So the fact that other people commented on the metallic coating wearing made me look further into, how it did wear, and I ended up finding all these pictures, which, what I ended up doing is, so I have all these conflicting feelings of, I love the bag, I don't want to disappoint anybody, even though, you know, you shouldn't really worry about disappointing somebody when you're spending literal thousands of dollars. Like, that doesn't make any sense, but it's still true. Like, I don't want to have my image, if that, you know, I don't want to have my image on YouTube painted with, oh, this person buys and returns or buys and resells and they just do it for the views, because I don't. I only really buy things I genuinely like. And it so happens that I've had a number of reasons why I've had to return different items. And I don't really think those are all my fault, but you know, that you're free to disagree with me. So what I ended up doing was, with all this going on and everything in my head, I ended up contacting my friend Megan on Instagram, Train Girl Megan. She also has a YouTube channel. I'd recommend checking her out. She's a lot of fun, and I personally find her very articulate in how she like processes things. And we're both fairly practical people, you know, considering we both like luxury goods. Like we try to be practical. So I ended up talking to her about the fact that I really liked the bag, and I was, you know, worried about the hypocrisy of buying something, gushing over it, and returning it, but also the issue with wear and tear. And she did make some excellent points, which some of you also made in the comments, and I do appreciate every one of your inputs. Like, I appreciate the people who congratulated me because you were genuinely happy for me, and I was genuinely happy for me. But I also do appreciate the people who, you know, kindly pointed out that metallics don't wear very well, or that they didn't think that the color was flattering, or they thought the bag looked aged, or the reissue isn't their style. I appreciate all sorts of input because ultimately I like talking about this stuff, and talking about it and engaging with you is something I really enjoy. So the people who, you know, did point out the problems with metallic wear were ultimately very, very helpful, because then I looked into it and I saw the wear, and I shared this with Megan too, and kind of, she basically said, if you found a bag for that price, the price you paid for it, but it had that wear, would you want it? And the answer was like immediately no. I would not purchase a bag, no matter honestly how inexpensive it was. I wouldn't purchase a bag with this sort of wear because it's not repairable in the way that I would be happy with. And that kind of was the ultimate point. Like, if you weren't willing to buy a bag with this wear for the price you paid, and it's probably going to have that wear at some point, is the bag worth the money you paid at all? And the answer was, you know, it was no. And I wanted to partially make this video, besides like the confession of like letting you know that I am returning the bag, I'm not sneakily returning it off the side and that's why you'll never see it again. Like, I wanted to be frank with you and tell you that yes, I am returning the bag. These are the reasons why, but I also wanted to talk through the process a little bit, you know, the whole start to finish process of finding the bag and falling in love with it and purchasing it because I liked it so much. Like, I bought it because I loved it. I unboxed it and I loved it. Like, the joy that I had in the video of me unboxing it was not fake. Like, I didn't make that up. So I bought it because I liked it, and I was partially, yes, swept away by the price and the hype, because, you know, all of you were congratulating me and I was super happy about it. And so your congratulations fed into my happiness. And of course, I did get a really good price for it, considering for Chanel it was under $3,000, and that's, for Chanel, really good. And for a reissue 227, that's really good. A lot of you said, you know, you're not going to get another chance to find a reissue 227 for that price. And probably not, I won't, you know, like, the chance of me getting a bag like this is not very high. But I did have a couple of people point out, and, you know, making very good points, that if you buy a bag and it's a deal, if it's not something that you really ultimately would be happy with, it's not a deal because you're still spending money. It's not a savings, it's spending money that you ultimately won't be happy with. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, it's one of the reasons why I don't buy a lot of things, because even if I make a savings, it's not a savings if I'm spending money. It's just spending slightly less money than I'd be spending full price. But if it's still something I don't want or can't use or wouldn't ultimately be happy with, I'm not saving anything. I'm just spending the money I'm spending, and, you know, arguably wasting the money because I don't like the thing I bought. Now, this is slightly different because I do like this thing I bought. I really like it, and I think that had it not been metallic, I don't know, because I don't know, but if this had been like a plain gray, like, and I wouldn't have to worry about the metallic coating in the same way, that same type of wear, I wouldn't have this, you know, problem, because it wouldn't be having the wear that metallic bags have. Like my ratio 225 is black with aged calfskin, and I've never really worried about the wear of that thing. Like I have no issues with it, and I'm happy with it. I like it a lot. My Sleep Classic flap has caviar leather, and it's in a really pretty navy, and I worry about wear. I treat my bags with care and respect, but I don't worry to this extent of them actually literally deteriorating. Even my vintage bags, I don't worry about them falling apart in the same way that the wear on those metallic bags concerned me. So I bought it, I loved it. I was swept away by how much I loved it, and I also was swept away by the price that I was paying for something I loved. You see, like all these things came together, and it was, in my opinion, a really good buy initially. But I did have the doubt about the metallic, and I sort of ignored that doubt to buy it because I liked it so much. And unfortunately, it is true that sometimes just because you love something, it doesn't mean that it's good for you. It doesn't mean that it'll work for you. Like, I see plenty of clothing that I think are super interesting, or sunglasses that I think are really cool, but they don't work for me, or they wouldn't look right on my body, or the sunglasses are useless because I wear these. Just because I love something doesn't mean it's something I should own. And that was kind of the conclusion I came to. I love this bag, I really do, and I don't want to have had this problem with it, but I do, because there's photographic evidence of this problem occurring in other bags. And yes, I don't know how those bags were stored or treated, but if it's likely that is going to happen, I am not a very lucky person. Like, it would happen to me. It absolutely would. So I'm basically saying, am I comfortable with paying what I did? Am I comfortable with paying like $2,800 to have a bag that will eventually wear like that? No, I'm not. And that's why I decided to return it. That's why I'm deciding to return it. I did not cut off the fashion file tag, partially because I was busy answering all of your comments and being happy that you were excited for me, and talking to the people who were less enthused because of insert reason here, partially because of the wear and tear, and sometimes they thought the bag was old, like whatever the reason. I was busy answering those comments, and so I didn't take the tag off. And then by that point, the seed of doubt that had already been in my mind was watered by the people who mentioned the metallic wear, and so I'm glad I didn't take off the tag, because now I can return it to Fashion File because I'm not out of my window. So that is what I am doing. I've made the decision, and once I make a decision, I tend to stick to it. So anybody who comments like, oh, you should keep it, like, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate every comment I get. I appreciate your input. I appreciate how generally people are talking to me with kindness, and even if they're disagreeing with my decision, they're kind about how they phrase their comments. Some of your comments have still been disappearing. I'm so sorry. I'm not deleting comments. I only delete comments that talk about that are spam comments. Like, truly, I do. YouTube is still deleting some of them, so I apologize if your comment has been deleted. I don't know what to do about it, but it's bothering me. I digress. I appreciate all the comments I get. That's why I try to respond to them and try to engage with you and talk to you on Instagram and all that stuff. So I just wanted to come on here and tell you all of this, and explain my process, and like the process of how I loved something, and I still love the thing, but I'm returning it anyway. And that's hard to do too. It's hard to give something back that you like, and it's hard to come out here and onto the internet where you being on the internet, you are inviting criticism and ridicule in some cases, or unkindness, whatever. And I think that sometimes people will take somebody else returning something a little personally. And I don't mean this like positively or negatively, really. It's that sometimes if you see someone buy something and you're excited for them, and then they share in the excitement and then they return it, you're like, oh, why did I even bother getting excited for you? Why did I do that? Why did I bother trying to connect with you? And I understand that so much, because I sometimes feel the same way. There are creators I don't really watch anymore that I used to, that I no longer really consume their content because they do so many unboxings and then you never see the item again. And eventually I kind of got a little bit tired of watching them unbox something and gush over the thing and then sell it on the side or return it on the side and never mention it again. Because I mean, I do think that that's a little bit dishonest. And, you know, I'm entitled to my opinion just like you're all entitled to yours. And that's just my opinion. I don't bash the creator. I don't go into the comments and like yell at them for returning the thing. I don't watch their stuff. And, you know, as always, nobody is required to watch my stuff. Like, obviously I can't like make you, and I wouldn't want to make you. I really don't want anybody to watch my content if they don't want to, or they find it annoying or frustrating, or they're mad at me or whatever. Like, that's just that's asking for a bad time all around. So I mean, I understand if this disappointed you. I really do. I understand if watching me unbox something and then return it within a few days is disappointing and frustrating even. And you know, it might be a weird thing to want to apologize for, but I do want to apologize for it in some capacity, because I share this stuff. I share this, you know, I share this information, my knowledge, my joy and enthusiasm, genuinely. I do this because I like to. I make these videos because I want to share these things and discuss them and talk about the histories, discuss the prices, talk about how we feel. And, you know, I don't want to come off as somebody who isn't genuine. And I'm repeating myself. I know I do that a lot. I'm very redundant. It's fine. Or I am, and I can't help it. But, you know, I do want to come out here and say, you know, truly, it sounds silly to be apologizing about returning a thousands of dollar item because it doesn't work for you, but I do want to say sorry, because you were excited for me for the most part. You enjoyed this, and you thought that I was keeping something that I really did like. And I'm not keeping something I really do like. I don't know. This is an odd video for a Saturday morning, so I hope that that's okay. I really do appreciate you watching. I always appreciate you watching. I recognize your usernames. I recognize your comments. You know, I really do appreciate people who interact on my channel. And I think, you know, I'm a small little channel, but I have such a wonderful engagement rate. I have so many of you that comment and watch every single week, and that is so cool. And so I really did want to say that I am sorry for something that could come across as ungenuine, because that is the last thing I want. And I can't unpublish the video where I unboxed the thing to try to hide the fact that I returned the thing, because I think that that's even worse. But I do think that, I don't know, I don't know if maybe it would make more sense to not do true unboxings on my channel and just like open the thing and then wait to see how I feel and then reveal it if I keep it. I mean, I'd like your opinion. I would always like your input, but what do you think? Would you prefer me no longer doing genuine unboxings and just only show you the stuff that I've thought about and have actually decided to keep? Or would you prefer the genuine unboxings and also the returns in the event that I end up having to return the thing? Because, you know, I mean, majority rule, maybe I'll put up a poll too on my community page, so like maybe check that out. But, you know, share your input, which one you'd prefer. I like sharing the unboxings. I think that there's merit in sharing like how something is packaged, or how it arrived to me, or what I looked like when I first unboxed the thing. But I can understand if somebody doesn't want to watch that because they're like, oh, is this person just going to return it or what? So I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I really do appreciate you. And I appreciated this bag up until I discovered there were reasons that I needed to return it. And yeah, I guess that's the video. As always, if you like this video, please do give it a like. It super duper helps the algorithm, and subscribe for more content. It helps the algorithm even more. But really, just really, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time. Bye.